is, how do you figure out which method is the right method?
Generally speaking, not unlike a doctor may be prescribing different kinds of medication until they find the appropriate one that will treat exactly what it is that that patient needs.
Now it's time to use the techniques.
Meet David Johnson, aspiring artist or sales marketing manager. For now, he's a junior in North High School's Visual and Performing Arts Magnet. He says he's proud of his education and his school, and he likes the trend towards specialized classes.
Instead of waiting until your senior year, well, I want to go to college to become this. You start off a little earlier, you know, so they can focus you on to what you want to actually become.
David's goal of becoming an artist has him practicing with watercolor paints on this day.
Would I get real heavy up in here, then lightly move up, or,
You can build it in layers, too. It doesn't have to go all down at one time.
All right.
David says he holds his teachers 50% responsible for what he learns. The other half, he says, is his responsibility to listen well.
My signature on it, too.
David has close to a B average. He says the teachers and their methods help him to reach his potential. But he, like many other kids, thinks unnecessary rules frustrate him and get in the way of his learning. David says schools should concentrate on teaching, not restricting, and students will be a lot better prepared for the working world. It won't be long before today's students go from hallways to skyways. Some Minnesota corporate spokespeople say many high school graduates have not mastered the basic skills they need to succeed. Since businesses will soon rely on those graduates, many employers strongly support the restructuring of the schools.
So you should know this information.
For school administrators, it is no longer a matter of whether or not to restructure, but how. Because looking at these students is like looking at America's future, and there are a lot of dreams out there waiting to be fulfilled.
My mother always told me, you're not through with school until you bring home a diploma, even when the summer's over with. After I bring home this diploma, I have another one to get. My goal is to get it, you know?
I'm Daryl Savage for Dimension.
Now that is the big picture on learning. Here now is a sneak preview of what lies ahead in the curriculum of the special in just a couple of minutes.
We're going to see how schools have changed through the eyes of a 1960 high school senior then and a 1990 high school senior now.
We'll also see how a restructuring of schools is a new assignment being carried out this year to meet changes outside of school.
And we're going to highlight an award-winning student who has the words on education in the 90s. That, plus we're going to hear from members of the audience, comments, and we're going to direct them to some of the panel members we have, including Alan Page, who's going to be up here next in our education special for the 90s, live from Henry High School.
Hold off winter with a warm memories visit to Valley Fair.
You'll never believe what's waiting for you. You'll never forget all the things that you'll do at Valley Fair. Valley Fair.
Show us what you got. Show us what you really got now.
Excalibur.
Valley Fair is hot. Show us what you really got now. Valley Fair is hot.
Come to Valley Fair.
Last chance. Open Saturdays and Sundays through September 30th.
You need a good hot meal. Don't forget your vegetables.
Cut your meat before you eat. A complete meal is very important.
Now, how about some pie?
Baker's Square presents 3 stir-fry main meals even a mother could love, topped off by the pie everyone loves. Baker's Square stir-fry main meals for lunch or dinner. Come try one, or we'll tell your mom.
No dinner, no pie.
No way.
Let's hang it right at the tower, DJ.
DHL was making express deliveries overseas before Federal Express was even in business. With a head start like that, we can simply do things others can't. DHL, faster to more of the world.
Tina Tavernier is a good example of why you don't have to be young to be productive. Her mind is as sharp as any youngster's. I don't want her to lose her Social Security just because she can still earn on her own. I'm working to phase that penalty out of the law entirely because our older citizens are a treasure, but they won't be if we keep them from having an active life.
Rudy Boschwitz and the people of Minnesota. Friends.
Bo Jackson on the Herschel Walker Show, Sunday morning at 11. Because of the following WCCO television Education for the 90s special, Inside Edition will not be seen tonight. This WCCO television news special is brought to you by the law firm of Oppenheimer, Wolf & Donnelly, committed to making our community a better place to live and work, and by Ashland Oil and its Super America and Valvoline Rapid Oil Change operations, reminding you that better education is the bottom line.
Live from Minneapolis Henry High School, this is Education for the 90s, a WCCO television news special.
We want to welcome you or back or welcome our new viewers who are just now tuning in.
We're going to take just about the next half hour or so to get everyone in the audience involved in asking some questions of the experts that we've gotten assembled here for the Education in the 90s special, and to take a participatory role in a look in what's changing in our schools.
Cindy Hilder is now standing by in our audience with a very special guest. Cindy?
I mean, very special is right. I am here with the principal of Henry High School, Cheryl Creasy. Cheryl, we want to thank you very much for letting us into the school.
Patrick Henry High, staff, parents, students, our TCF Bank Partnership, and the Minneapolis Public Schools. Thank you, WCCO, for selecting us for your first special for education.
Thank you, Cheryl. It's very nice to be here. Thank you all very much. Don and Colleen, back to you.
And Cindy, we want to add on part of everyone from Channel 4. We're very happy to be at Henry tonight.
Now, you know, we hear so many anecdotes, or at least you used to hear anecdotes from old timers talking to the younger students. You know, when I was your age, it was so tough. We used to have to trudge through 9 miles of snow to get to school. Well, a lot of those experiences may have been true, but a lot of those things have also changed. We're trying to find a way to compare things, how they used to be and how they are today. And the experiences of a senior in 1960, we're going to try to find out how they compare to a senior in 1990.
Cindy Hilger tracked down a 1960 Henry High grad and talked with a 1990 Henry High senior to show us the differences.
Nice job. You know what you're doing. It's so nice to see.
Marilyn Campbell has spent most of her life in a classroom. So has Bronwyn Zachary. Bronwyn will graduate from Henry High School this year. Marilyn did 30 years ago and went on to become a teacher.
Kids have just learned to be more independent, and they've had to learn to take care of themselves at a much younger age than we did.
Marilyn's memories of Henry are filled with good times spent with family and friends. She belonged to several groups and clubs and sang in the choir, and she never missed a football game.
There was team spirit, and there was spirit before the games, and a lot of activities, and everybody sort of joined together. I always felt that at Henry, that it was a very together group.
Today the groups are smaller. There isn't that sense of one big class. Teachers say many kids are harder to motivate because they live day to day.
When you hear about kids getting shot, I mean, that's what's happening in these students' neighborhoods right now. And kids are like, well, I don't know if I'll be here tomorrow or not, because I go to a party and that's what happens.
These days, most kids have interests outside of school. Bronwyn works and volunteers at a children's hospital. She's seen some of her classmates drop out of school. Others get involved with drugs. But she doesn't believe those kids represent teens today.
There's some people that don't do their work at all or different things, you know. But basically, if I want to just say as a basic teenager, I think I do, you know, because I would just as soon not do the homework, you know, like anybody else, but because I'm pushed a little more, that I do it.
Bronwyn is anxious to move on and go to college. But she wonders if 30 years from now, if her memories of Henry will be anything like Marilyn's.
Well, I remember my high school years as being a lot of fun. I enjoyed every minute of it. I wouldn't want to go back, but I enjoyed it when I was living it.
You're looking live right now at Marilyn Campbell. She's here in our studios as part of our panel here at, with our education special. And Bronwyn Zachary as well. She is the senior that you met in that story we just did. Don?
We're also joined by Cheryl Creasy again, the principal of Henry High, for some discussion. We want to start with Marilyn, and the question that I have for you is, what is the chief difference between 1960 and 1990?
Well, I think that the schools in our country reflect society as a whole. And the change that I see in society as well as education is that we have gone from an industrial society to very much of a technological society in the last 30 years. The skills that I had when I graduated in 1960 have served me well, but I don't feel they're adequate anymore today. That's why I feel it's so important that we have our partnerships with the corporations. And who could tell us better what the youth of today will need to know when they move into the world of business than the corporations themselves? I think we need to continue that partnership. It's extremely important for us.
Now, Cheryl, a lot of social changes have taken place and family changes in the last 30 years. Do you think the schools have kept up with those changes?
Well, the school's trying to keep up, but one of the things that's happening is the fact that the schools are also getting a lot of other things we must do with kids. Lunch programs. There's a continuation of adding to the job. And within that, the schools have to find ways to meet all of the needs. And one of the ways Henry High has met some of those needs is through our partnerships with TCF Bank to help us provide additional things and services for kids. So I think the schools are trying as much as they can with what's available.
We'd like to take the opportunity now to come out into the audience and have some of our audience members ask questions. And I believe we have a question down here, right here, close to the front. Could you please give us your name and direct your question to the person on the panel?
My name is Henrietta Faulkner, and I'm a parent. And I have a question for Bronwyn. As a student listening to an earlier graduate, I guess I'd like to know what you feel that you're missing now that you would like to have when you're ready to go into the world.
Bronwyn?
Well, I guess Henry has given me a lot of what I'm going to need. I'm currently in the IB program, so I think that that is a program that really is for kids who are motivated and who are prepared to go into college. And although I know high school isn't supposed to be like college and offer you everything, everything that a college would offer, I still think that Henry, as compared to some other schools, we have a limited supply of such things. Like, I know for one thing that I'm very interested in is the theater. And in 9th grade, I did participate in the class play, but since then, there hasn't been an active class play, and that's one thing that I feel like that I'm missing out on, that I would like to further my education with.
Bronwyn, as you look around to your fellow students, perhaps this education has been perfectly fine for you. Do you see the schools missing the boat for some of your fellow students, though?
That I really can't answer because I feel like I've been left out of, I couldn't answer for those other students because I don't want to say I've been separated from them, but in a way I have, because we've just been offered classes that are for, I don't want to say highly motivated, but that's what their title is. And whether they are receiving an adequate education or not, I can't say, but in the past they've all graduated. So as long as, if we aren't going to receive it here in high school, then I'm sure that the colleges will give us something for what we're missing. But I would like to get kind of like a head start to know what to expect in college and to be a little more prepared.
Thank you.
We want to thank all of you for taking the time here tonight to be with us. We're going to be kind of looking into some more of these issues as the evening goes on. Thank you all.
Thank you. Many of our schools are trying all kinds of new approaches toward education.
And when we return, we're going to take a look at one program that Henry is trying that is making teachers and kids optimistic.
And we're going to hear from Football Hall of Famer Alan Page. Now he's on the University of Minnesota Board of Regents, and he's going to be speaking about the importance of education.
But first, we're joined by some members of the Henry High School Band for the Patriots theme song.
You're watching Education for the 90s, a WCCO television news special, live from Minneapolis Henry High School.
Soon after Madeline Arnett created a scholarship fund to help students from deserving families, she found out what one of those families thought of her efforts.
Mrs. Arnett?
Yes. May I help you?
I'm Donald Anzer. Thanks for the scholarship.
Congratulations.
Ashland Oil urges business to get involved with your schools because better education is the bottom line.
Everybody knows that milk's for babies. Charming, disarming, whatever they do. Wouldn't you know it, baby? Milk's for you. Soft baby skin, strong baby bones, bright baby smile, ooh, great muscle tone. Wouldn't you know it, baby? Milk's for you. It's a health kick, baby.
It takes more than lakes and parks to make a great place to work or live. It takes commitment. Commitment to giving of one's energy, of oneself. Lending a hand when the reward is only a smile. Great places don't just happen. They become great because people take the time to share. This message is brought to you by the law firm of Oppenheimer, Wolf & Donnelly, committed to making our area a better place to work and live.
I'd like to thank the band members and also John Williams. He is the director of the band.
Now, sometimes the non-classroom activities like band or athletics give students a reason to stay in school.
Across the country, schools are trying to prevent dropouts, of course, and education reporter Daryl Savage is in our audience to talk about the reasons inside the classroom to stay there, thanks to a new program at Henry.
John and Colleen, a program that is simply called Restructuring is going to help kids realize that education is relevant. That program is in effect for 9th graders here now. Now, the restructuring plan includes team teaching to give teachers.
Apparently, we're having a little problem with Daryl's microphone. We're going to fix that in just a second. We're going to go back now to Daryl to get the full text of what he was saying.
Yeah,
Daryl?
Start over again and tell us what the story's about.
Certainly, as we were saying, Henry High is hoping that a program simply called Restructuring will help kids to realize that education is relevant to them. Now, it is in place in the 9th grade right now. Now, the restructuring plan includes team teaching to give teachers support from other teachers and to help a block of students have a closer relationship with those teachers. Now, interdisciplinary lessons help students learn that information in one area can be applied elsewhere. And flexible scheduling gives teachers and kids a chance to concentrate on a subject based on that day's needs in that area. Now, tonight we look at that plan in action. We'll profile a team of teachers and what the program is like for one 9th grader who's carrying out this new assignment. Social studies teacher Dan Christensen knows his students better this year because of a new team teaching emphasis. For half of their school day, these students are nearby. In the past, their whereabouts were not as well known.
At the end of that hour, they went 16 different directions. You didn't know where they were going or who they were seeing. It was hard to keep track of them.
Now Christensen knows who his students are and where they are. He's teaching them how to think for themselves, a skill the school believes is important.
Number 4, I got the first aid kit.
14-year-old Tasha Williams is trying to figure out what she'd need if she were stranded on the moon.
How many people want to take the rope is number 5. Why would you want to take the rope?
In addition to social studies, Tasha and her classmates learn math and English together every day. They're part of a block of students taught by a team of 3 instructors.
Hopefully they will get to know each other better, and they will feel like they have a home base. You know, that they don't have 6 isolated teachers. They can come to any one of us in the team, and for sure we will know who they are and be able to help them.
Across the hall, Carol Bourne is Tasha's math teacher. She likes the new system because of the flexibility. The bells don't dictate the length of the lessons. If she wants to spend more time with a difficult algebra concept and the other teachers don't mind, it's done. Another change, instead of segregating students who need extra help, a special ed teacher comes in and works side by side with the 3 teachers.
All right, so is this a regular number?
Yep, that's fine.
All right, and what about this one?
That's fine.
Who else is left?
The 3rd member of the teaching team is Art Fraley. Today, his class reads poems written by last year's students.
My love is felt like thunder in the midst of the stars.
He says he doesn't feel like the Lone Ranger anymore now that he's backed up by 2 colleagues.
After 28 years of teaching, I feel more optimistic, even though education in America is tough.
The teacher's encouragement and discipline isn't lost on Tasha, who knows a diploma is necessary for her future success.
That's the only way you'll get anything in life. You will have to work for it, and that's a good way of doing it.
That's what we want, is that they feel it's important for them to be in school and to be thinking about the future and not just letting the future happen to them.
Now, in the upcoming months, school officials will keep a close eye on the restructuring program because if it is successful, the whole school may undergo similar education reforms. Now, teachers say that the bottom line is the kids need to realize that the education is relevant to their future success. Donna, Colleen?
Okay, well, thank you, Daryl. The relevance of education is very clear to 2 guests now joining us, Alan Page and Mike Miller.
Mike Miller is the director of Target Store Training, and she has had a hand in hiring more than 10,000 people over the years, about 1/3 of those people for management.
And just a quick background on Alan Page for our audience. He is a member of the U of M Board of Regents, and he has helped establish scholarship funds. Now, the tenacity that he once used to get to quarterbacks, he now uses to get to parents and to kids on the importance of education, and he made that point very clear during his induction into the Hall of Fame in 1988.
Taking responsibility for ourselves and for the children of this country. We must educate our children, and if we do, I believe that will be enough. Thank you.
A very strong message. The question that comes to my mind is how? How do we educate our kids? How do we keep them motivating and wanting to stay in school, Alan?
Well, I think part of the answer is bringing business, education, and people from education, parents, bringing the community together to sit down and organize and figure out what it is we need to do. There are a number of programs now. Many of them are good programs, but in a sense, both here and nationally, it's sort of a hodgepodge. We need to sit down, figure it out, and then go forward.
And so within, say, different school districts, maybe that plan might be a little different depending on what...
Absolutely, absolutely. There isn't one answer to these problems.
Okay. Daryl?
Okay, we have a question out here in the audience. Antar Bonin, who's a 10th grader here at Henry, has a question for Mike.
Mike, what do I need to do to prepare myself for college?
You can ask the
Prepare
question
yourself
again.
for college?
How to do that?
How to do that? Well, the number one way business would like you to prepare is to graduate from high school and make sure you've got all those good basic skills down. And don't play hooky.
Mike, what is the greatest deficit you see coming into the workplace when you are looking at applications or testing people out? What is missing in high school graduates that perhaps wasn't missing 10 or 15 years ago?
The ability to communicate, either in writing or orally. It's very distressing when the supervisor will ask someone to alleviate the problem. They say, I can't do that, but I could fix it.
Alan, How important do you think the extracurricular activities are to school? Obviously, athletics were very important to you. Is that a key? And earlier, our student from Henry High School mentioned that she was sorry to see the theater program go, for example. Are those ways to keep students interested in school and hook them at least?
The extracurricular activities are a way of making a school a community, making them more than just a group of people who come in every day and leave. It makes it a community, and those things are very important. They're very important, whether it be athletically, although there is a tendency to overemphasize athletics and underemphasize academics. Those extracurricular activities are very, very important to a school.
Okay, I believe Daryl has someone in the audience who has a question now.
Certainly. Mark Sapanik joins us now. Mark?
Why was getting an education so important when you already had a career in football?
The question, Alan, was why was an education so important when you had a career in football?
Well, because the skills of a defensive lineman aren't transferable to much of anything. And at 35 years of age, when I was done playing football, had I not gone on to school, had I not prepared myself for the future, I would more likely than not be unemployed and more likely than not unemployable.
Mike, you talk about a job and the job, and being prepared for both of those. A job, I think, just describes something where you can make some money. The job is the career. How does a student prepare for that?
Well, in order to get the job rather than a job and climb the ladder of success in business, you start with the high school degree, and in these days, you got to have the college degree. And unless you have both of them, there's no way to get and keep the job.
Now, what are some of the skills that students need to have when they come in looking for jobs, perhaps not even after they've left high school? A lot of students need to have jobs as they're continuing through high school.
You know, it's amazing. Just even that preparation for an interview, the dressing properly, filling out the application correctly, when it says hours you want to work and a student puts yes, that's not the answer. A firm handshake and closing the interview with, I want that job, are some of the keys to help.
Okay.
Thank you.
We want to thank you both for being with us tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you.
When we come back, we're going to have a break, and then we're going to have a profile of a very, very interesting senior here at Henry High.
Now, you have already met Shauna Moses in a way, but she will give us a live demonstration of her talents just a little bit later. But first, some more of the Henry High School band talent as we take a break.
There are many reasons to eat at Old Country Buffet. The great salad bar with fresh vegetables and fruits, the homemade soups, the many vegetables and special daily entrees, including carved roast beef and ham for dinner, and yes, the desserts. All this and more, just $4.75 for lunch and $6.29 for dinner. The real reason is my family. Old Country Buffet. It's the kind of place even my mother approves of.
Off to school.
This can't be done.
Maybe I can help.
I'm just not getting it.
Adults aren't the only ones working hard to make it. Our children are too. And schools deserve all the help business can give them. Because if our children succeed, eventually, so will we.
Yes!
Ashland Oil urges business to get involved with your schools. Because better education is the bottom line.
At St. Joseph's Home for Children, they call them volunteer grandparents. They share their skills and the wisdom of their years with children in crisis. But most importantly, they share themselves. We salute all those who take the time to share. This message brought to you by the law firm of Oppenheimer, Wolf & Donnelly, committed to making our community a better place.
This week, great values, 10 to 20% off all athletic shoes, men's, women's, kids, now at Famous Footwear.
Henry High School Band, the Patriots. We're back here with our education special live from the Minneapolis Patrick Henry High School. We'd like to introduce you now to a very special high school senior here at Henry.
17-year-old Shauna Moses lives in North Minneapolis with her parents, Joe and Betty. A very quiet young woman, Shauna doesn't call a lot of attention to herself, but her achievements get noticed. In the classroom, she is an outstanding student in the International Baccalaureate program. And after school, you'll find her on the volleyball court, practicing strategy with her teammates. But it's not sports or schoolwork that Shauna is famous for, it is speech. Last spring, Shauna took top honors in the state speech tournament. Her winning selection was a speech by Frederick Douglass. And Shauna is here with us tonight, live to give us a speech on the Education for the 90s essay question. Now here is Shauna Moses on what changes, if any, are needed for education to be successful in the 90s.
I was asked to consider what changes, if any, need to be made in order for education to succeed in the 90s. I'd like to suggest that the changes that are needed must focus on students as individuals. First, I think it's very important that a personalized relationship is established between students and teachers. The changes that are going to occur in the 90s will put pressures on students that previous students have never had to face. Thus, teachers must be willing to become more involved with the welfare of their students and not simply be concerned about subject matter. A second consideration for the 90s is to have more communication between parents and counselors regarding each student's future plans. Students need to be encouraged and challenged in order to be better prepared for life in the 90s. In fact, everyone in the life of a student, parents, teachers, counselors, administrators, needs to provide support and guidance so students use their high school years as beneficially as they possibly can. Ironically, Henry has started a new program called Keep Your Options Open, which is a beginning step to address post-high school plans for each student. Finally, motivational programs from willing organizations such as TCF must be a part of the schools of the 90s. These programs will provide exposure to job markets, as well as practical job training, which can lead to full-time employment. Life is complicated, and as I look at the future, the schools are going to have to be willing to personalize their approach to education. If they do, education in the 90s will meet the challenges of our society.
Thank you very much, Shauna. By the way, we wanted to mention that Shauna was also the voice of tonight's special. She was our announcer all the way through this program.
And she did a wonderful job with that. And Shauna, it's very easy to see why you took top honors in speech. Good job, and quite a challenge for the schools, too.
Exactly right.
Okay, thank you, Shauna. Now, we want to mention to our audience that you can enter our essay contest, all those people watching at home, by answering the same question as Shauna did. Just write a 500-word essay. Give it to your English teacher, grades 9 through 12 only, please. Now, they are asked to pick the best and mail it to us by Tuesday, September 25th. There are $4,000 in scholarships and 4 winners who will be announced at our third and final education special, October 3rd at Egan High School.
Now, when we come back after a final break, we will have a final word about where you can get more information on education in the 90s, how to improve the education for yourself, for the student in your family.
Listen up, everyone. 20 years ago, a young student visited this newspaper's first career day, and he was so enthusiastic, I thought, with a little encouragement, he might make a good newsman. So now that he's our new city editor, I want to make sure he never forgets how he got his start.
Ashland Oil urges business to get involved with your schools, because better education is the bottom line.
It takes more than lakes and parks to make a great place to work or live. It takes commitment. Commitment to giving of one's energy, of oneself. Lending a hand when the reward is only a smile. Great places don't just happen. They become great because people take the time to share. This message is brought to you by the law firm of Oppenheimer, Wolf & Donnelly, committed to making our area a better place to work and live.
A clean home is a place you can feel good about, so treat yourself to the world's best whole home cleaning machine, the Power Steamer Deluxe by Bissell. The Power Steamer Deluxe lets you deep clean carpets, upholstery, and even bare floors with professional style water extraction cleaning and now stronger suction than ever before. So feel good about your home. Get your carpets, upholstery, and bare floors really clean. Don't rent. Clean anytime you like with your own whole home cleaning machine, the Bissell Power Steamer Deluxe, $169.99 at Dayton's.
Welcome back. We want to say a special thank you to the Henry High School Band and their director, John Williams. If only we had a live band every night. Wouldn't that be terrific?
Do the news to live music. Yeah. We would also encourage you to listen up for an address, because we have put together a free brochure with the help of the Minnesota Education Association called 50 Ways to Enhance Self-Esteem. Now here's the address while I tell you a little bit about the brochure. It's a guide for students and parents on how to view setbacks or cooperation or how to improve communication. Just write for this at the address WCCO TV, 90 South 11th Street, Minneapolis, Minnesota, and the zip is 55403. And we also have some here this evening, tonight, for members of our audience, and they will be at the back of the auditorium here at Henry.
And we also have a Parent Power brochure available. Now, it has advice on picking the right school, parent-teacher communication, and helping your child through the critical years. It is available at the same address. Well, that is our program for this evening. We want to say a special thank you to MTC for providing free transportation for some of our audience members.
And we'd like to encourage you to join us next Monday as we go live like this at Anoka High School. Thanks for staying with us. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
This WCCO television news special has been brought to you by Ashland Oil and its Super America and Valvoline Rapid Oil Change operations, reminding you that better education is the bottom line. And by the law firm of Oppenheimer, Wolf & Donnelly, committed to making our community a better place to live and work. Education for the 90s is an exclusive presentation of WCCO Television News. Good night, Henry.
CBS Late Night presents Wise Guy, starring Ken Wall.
Tonight on Wise Guy.
Was the mission accomplished?
The evidence is on its way to you now.
It's ink.
The money was printed here.
The release of counterfeit currency is the equivalent of launching a war.
Nothing is the equivalent of war.
Now, Leland Masters is in the White House right now, anticipating the first salvo of his last crusade.
Now arrest the son of a bitch.
In success or in failure, they still have to put it off on someone, and it's not just Kate Gallagher. The person being hung out to dry is you.
Narrow Margin.
I saw a man get murdered.
A top-notch, spine-tingling thriller.
We can't get off the train.
Super suspense. A Hitchcock of the 90s.
This is my life we're dealing with.
And Jeffrey Lyons calls it one terrific movie. One of the best thrillers in a long time. Gene Hackman, Ann Archer. Narrow Margin. Rated R. Starts Friday at a theater near you.
Whether they've been standing for 100 years or they're brand new.
This is yours.
It's mine.
In over half the homes in America, you'll find Kenmore appliances.
There's something in the fridge.
Dave.
Right now, this large capacity Kenmore washer is only $369.99. Matching dryer $299.99 at Sears Brand Central nationwide.
Everything you need to protect and enhance the outside of your home is on sale now at Budget Power. Larson Storm Doors offer the beauty of wood, the strength of steel, and the fit and feel of expert craftsmanship. At Budget Power, we have a huge selection of quality Larson Storm Doors. There's no better way to keep wood looking good than with Flood CWF Clear Wood Finish. Our paint and stain experts can show you how to restore, protect, and add beauty to wood siding, decks, railings, and shakes with Flood CWF. From Budget Power, where style hits home.
What changes are needed for education to be successful in the 90s? That's the question WCCO TV would like 9th through 12th graders to answer in our Education for the 90s essay contest. All you have to do is compose your response in a 500-word essay and send it to WCCO TV, 90 South 11th Street, Minneapolis 55403 by September 25th. You can win $4,000 in prizes, plus be featured in a newscast, focusing on education, part of our commitment to news for the 90s.
On Wise Guy.
The National Security Commission is facing a dire situation. I need one man, Agent Vincent Terranova.
You've been requested to serve the National Security Commission. Why? It's on a need-to-know basis. I don't need to know.
This is one of the most powerful weapons in the world. It's a printing plate, the Japanese yen. We believe a plan exists to undermine the economy of Japan. This parcel containing the original plate was damaged in transit to Tenza, Kurtzman, and Lloyd.
The most powerful economy in the world is about to be destroyed by a Capitol Hill PR firm?
It's your moral duty to stop it.
Oh my God.
Someone with department clearance has been shot.
The bullet that killed Valente was packed with curare. It was an assassination, Vince.
Dr. Valenti created a model for non-genuine destabilization. What is that? A diagram for waging economic war through counterfeiting.
Who commissioned it?
Tenzer, Kurtzman, and Lloyd. Account executive Catherine Gallagher.
Terranova be damned. The son of a bitch turned a beautifully conceived notion into a public embarrassment that'll take decades to clean up. Il Pavo is our island. Now it's in the hands of some third-world Lilliputians who mock us at every turn. Reparations are going to be paid by this boy.
I'm supposed to find their scapegoat.
The Dean Earl.
Yeah. Kay Gallagher.
What are you looking for?
I have a warrant. This involves national security.
Terranova instigated this, didn't he?
Sign this.
What is it?
It's a receipt for confiscated goods. There's a file on Mr. Wilson, and contents, a paper on non-genuine destabilization by a Dr. Andrew Valenti.
I need to know about Wilson. An assassination and the fall of a sovereign nation could be dumped in your lap if you don't help me.
Wilson is a voice on the end of the telephone. He called my firm and asked us to commission Valenti to write a paper.
And you never met him?
I spoke with him twice on the telephone.
You better be careful. Your invisible Mr. Wilson might get you killed.
Senator, we believe the passage of the trade bill could trigger the release of the counterfeit currency.
Now, if that bill could be held up in a committee or...
It's Janet Getzloff's bill, Agent Terranova. It's her committee.
What are its chances, sir?
That bill won't die an easy death, no matter what I fling at it.
I want a report.
Going over a computer list.
Let me see the list. Big Sky, forget it. Sun Valley, forget it. Dawn Valley, Utah. There was a transport depot closed there. Now, why don't you start with what's most likely and quit diddling? I've got Terranova pointed in the right direction, but he's convinced Gallagher's a red herring. Is there any reason I have to do everything myself?
And the phone records of the calls received at that time were made from a phone in Dawn Valley, Utah.
Prescott Wilson.
America's hermit billionaire.
He called me twice. He'll speak with me again.
He spoke to you because he called you.
I'll see him in person.
Kay, he hasn't seen anybody since we put a Kennedy in the White House. It's impossible.
Walter, nothing is impossible.
I want you to be ready to leave for Utah at a moment's notice. Our targets are going to be meeting Mr. Wilson soon.
chair, Nova? Here, I'll take that. You let him sleep, all right? Oh. How much longer till we get there?
In about half hour, sunrise. Want some coffee?
Oh, please, thank you.
Yeah, me too, please.
Hey, Vinny, you ought to sleep.
Nah, it's all right. I'm up. What is that?
Prescott Wilson.
What about him?
Yeah, what do we got? Last time he made a public appearance was with Edward R. Murrow, person to person. He's a billionaire hermit. Oil, shipping, lumber. This guy holds 114 patents. Everything from the automated donut machine to the guidance system on a nuclear sub.
Oh, he's serving the military?
Thank you. No. He refit merchant vessels for the war effort. He used to date Tallulah Bankhead.
Who didn't? So in our vast files, we have about as much on this guy as the National Enquirer, huh?
Our files are from the National Enquirer. DOD cutback shut this base down in '78. Only activity in the last 3 years was a Boy Scout jamboree. Here, this is supposed to open it. His ink. Font's on his palette here, too.
It'll match this.
These skids are fresh. Rubber hasn't washed away yet. Double wide skid marks. Got to be a transport, but can't be a jet. This runway's too short.
Transport plane's too big not to notice. Somebody had to see this thing happen.
Printed, packaged, and shipped from an abandoned military base. They bugged out very recently and left just enough evidence for us to find. Come on, this is too easy, Vince.
Not supposed to be. This is General Master's little trail of crumbs he left for me. The only crumb we picked up ourselves was Prescott Wilson.
Prescott Wilson's estate, please?
Now there's a new antiperspirant scent from Ban called Body Fresh. Ban Body Fresh. Imagine a light, clean scent that harmonizes with your body. A fresh, clean scent touched by natural botanical essences. Ban Body Fresh. Ban Body Fresh scent. So light, so clean, it's the new fresh way to keep that shower fresh feeling all day.
You may not have thought about getting a Sears Die-Hard battery until you've had a little time alone to think about it. Die-Hard, more power when you need it most.
To sweeten delicious foods like these, there's no need for products created in high-tech industrial plants. We're happy with our plants just the way they are. 100% pure natural sugar, a sweetener only nature could make.
Tom Ryan, torn from the woman he almost married.
He set me up, Paige. He framed me.
You left me at the church.
Now, he's ready to take revenge.
Have you ever considered that I might kill you anyway?
While Danny wants revenge for a marriage he almost lost.
Oh, cowboy.
Who will break first? Knots Landing, Thursday.
Saturday, Earth Force challenges an international cartel to save endangered animals from death for a price. When Earth Force premieres in its regular night and time, Saturday.
Oh, you want to buy some tickets to the show, man? The concert's all sold out. I don't need them. I know how to win free tickets to most major sold-out concerts. How?
It's the great Rock and Pop Trivia Game.
Call 1-900-990-TUNE, and for only 99 cents a minute, $1.99 the first minute, you'll have fun winning concert tickets and prizes while testing your rock or pop trivia knowledge.
It's fun and easy, plus every 10th entrant's an automatic winner. Under 18, get your parents' permission. Call now.
1-900-990-TUNE. I'm a winner.
Tension is mounting in the Middle East. You need to know what's going on, and you need to know now. So tune to the news leader, WCCO Radio 830. WCCO Radio and the CBS Radio Network bring you the events as they unfold, as well as compelling interviews with the experts. For news as it happens in the Middle East, turn to the radio station you trust, WCCO Radio 830.
If you'd like to see one of the largest selections of leather from around the world, there's no place like home. A wide variety of leather in stock for immediate delivery. There's no place like home. And if you'd like to see prices that make it all very affordable, there's no place like home. Home Oak and Leather, now open in Roseville, 2 blocks north of Rosedale on Snelling, and Bloomington, 494 in Lindale next to Quality Lincoln Mercury. Come see us, because there's just no place like home.